Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thursday's World Session for Abundance. You can catch the recordings of these sessions if you can't make it live on my website at www.mmarzak. Oh, there's a spelling mistake, at mmarzak.com. Or you can reach me directly at monica@sproutingtreewellness.ca to email me your findings or what your experience or your shifts and what you've noticed. But for the sessions, we're just gonna hop right in. So I want to say a really big thank you first. That's coming up really strongly for now is gratitude. And so I want to express my gratitude to all of you who are on with me live to help ground and support this work, not only for yourself, but for the world. So we're gonna sit in silence. And as I'm saying that, I'm having all of this anxiety run through my body. Just the word gratitude, and I'm feeling contracted and nervous and tense and like shaking. So that's telling me that there's misconceptions about gratitude and what it means to have gratitude or to sit in gratitude. There's a lot of thought about that. So I'm just going to take a moment of silence. So the energy's already moving. To move past the thoughts beyond. So we're gonna sit in that gratitude space, but beyond what we think gratitude is. There's a lot of thought and burden when I feel into gratitude. So I'm going to do an exercise that we do in Breakthrough. If you're interested in Breakthrough or are curious about it, it's in short Jnana Yoga, which is yoga of the mind, to questioning your thoughts, questioning what you think, not following your thoughts and using your intellect wisely or in a healthy way, not in a lazy way where you're just following every single thought you have and being dragged about by your thoughts. And so there's a lot of thinking. It's so heavy. I'm feeling this massive pressure down on the head and burdening the shoulders. So if everyone can just take a deep breath, and it doesn't matter what your experience is right now, just stay with that experience and step behind. That's such relief. So there's a few things going on that I'm witnessing as I say the word gratitude. My throat is closing up. There's a burdening on the prefrontal cortex. The limbic brain is overfiring. So the emotional centers of the brain, I feel like I'm being squeezed in. A shortness, I look where my hand is going. I feel like I'm being choked out. And this is all with the word gratitude. So we've got to do a few things. First, we're going to run a hydration to the brain, and a hydration specifically to the prefrontal cortex and limbic brains. And so this is linking in together. So prefrontal cortex doing a full hydration of all of the nooks and crannies of the prefrontal cortex, all of the nooks and crannies of the cellular structures within the prefrontal cortex, and even down into the connectomes, all of those neural pathways that happen within the prefrontal cortex. I'm talking really quickly because it's moving so fast, and it's all laden with thinking, but not healthy thinking. I can't say thinking. I would have to say thought. It's laden with thought and what I think or my thoughts are true. So my thoughts about myself are true. My thoughts about my life are true. My thoughts about receiving are true. My thoughts about gratitude are true. Oof, it's really heavy. And those are within the connectomes. And so I can see the energy passing with all, like carrying all of this luggage. We're going to do a hydration to flush that out, linking it to a Seedry, to the limbic brain bilaterally, the whole limbic brain, to help those backed up. That's the emotional processing center of the brain. It feels really burdened. So very different to have an emotion and feel an emotion than to have a thought and think your thought is an emotion and a feeling. So thoughts can give rise to emotions and feelings. So thinking your feelings, thinking your emotions, and that's what's being burdened inside the limbic brain. So we're going to run a Seedry, which is, we're going to recontextualize, defragment, refragment, reintegrate, synthesize, reprioritize, down to the subatomic levels within the limbic brain. So through the actual physical structure of the brain, but down also into the energetic levels. So the chi flow, the quarks, the neurons, the protons, down to the very fabric, down to the very vibration that creates the cellular structure and the atoms, down to that spark of life. There's this huge reorganization, and I'm feeling really, really nauseous. So breathe and breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. I'm going to link this into the diaphragm. The diaphragm is the space for releasing. It has a natural letting go, but it's stuck and it's sticky. And so it feels like my waist is being plugged, being choked out like this, like I'm just like choked out, and everything rises up. So the emotional processing isn't able to go, the thinking function of the brain isn't working properly, it's not centered and strong and anchored, it's following thought everywhere. And then we're doing this reorganization, this dumping and toxic release. Whew. But then the diaphragm is stuck. And so it's really, really sticky within the diaphragm. So take a nice deep breath. And here comes a consciousness. And here comes a thought. But if I change, then everything changes. And so better the devil I know. Even if that means that you're experiencing some sort of misery, that misery is something that you know. Oh, and it's being grappled by fear. It's just held on. So we need to do a few things to that diaphragm to get that diaphragm really nice and relaxed. It works with the lung. It works with the breathing structure. It works with the lungs. It massages all of your organs, the liver and the gallbladder and the pancreas and the spleen. And getting that nice oxygenated blood to the organs, all the nutrients to the organs, down into the small intestines and the large intestines, but it's really stuck. It's really, really stuck. So we're going to do a diaphragmatic breathing cycle to get the breathing back up. So it's stuck in breathing really tight above. So it's staying in, it's feeding the thoughts, it's feeding these three upper chakras, it's only feeding this section, but ignoring the full half of the rest of the body. Completely disjointed. I feel like it's like two separate halves of the body being kind of stuck together, like a child does kind of haphazardly when they do arts and crafts, and it's kind of stuck on crooked. We need to get that diaphragm in the midline, back in conjunction, working with the rest of the body. So we're doing a few things at the same time. So I can only talk one at a time, but it's what in BodyTalk we call a 3-ring circus. So all of these things happen simultaneously. So we've got a breathing, we're doing a diaphragmatic a breathing cycle reset so that the breath is working in conjunction with your natural breathing. So it's not just staying up here, that is traveling down to the rest of your body, bringing in the breath of life. So you're in your life fully. Even if that means that there's discomfort, don't discount the discomfort that you're feeling. Don't rush through it. The tendency is, well, if I'm in pain, I've got to make it stop. There's something wrong with it. I don't want to look at it. And of course, it's not comfortable. Of course, it hurts. But that pain, whether it be an emotional pain, a spiritual pain, a mental anguish, or a physical pain, is your body's way of communicating with you. And we just want to hop right over it and go to make it better, do something to fix it, make this go away. I don't want to face myself. I don't want to reevaluate my life. I don't want to make any changes. In comes again that better the devil I know. That's not serving. It's not comfortable. It's not healthy. And so then the whole body is disjointed. So doing the diaphragmatic breathing cycle, and then doing a body vibe axis to the spinal complex, from the coccyx, starting down at that, I'm going to cry. There's so much fear and guilt and shame and burden, and that whole root chakra is completely disjointed. It almost feels like it's not put together. I don't trust myself to make good decisions in my life. I can't trust life. I don't trust my process. Life is out to get me. Others are out to get me. Oh, if they give me something, if I receive something, well, that means that it's emotional. So emotional extortion. If I receive, that means I need to give. If I give, that means I need to reciprocate equally. I need to say thank you. I need to be a good girl. I need to be a good boy. I need to be this. I need to be that. So it's the root chakra is, I'm seeing the world's root chakra, and it's almost dilapidated. And that is the connection to Mother Earth. And so there's this over heightening of staying in the mind, staying in those three upper chakras, which link to the mental, which link to that father sky, the masculine, but completely disassociated with Mother Earth. And Mother Earth is the material. That lower chakra is for material. So we need to go ahead and do a massive repair on that root chakra. And we're going to link it to the minor chakras of the soles of the feet. And then there's some 8th chakra coming in here. So hereditary and planetary consciousness is coming in and impacting, because who knows how we're impacted. So planets impact us, environment impacts us, global consciousness impacts us, the way that your parents, grandparents, and so we're going down through the 8th chakra into that root chakra. And there's a few tentacles coming out of it. So one, planetary consciousness, where if I have material goods, that means I am materialistic, thinking that all rich people are evil. Rich people steal. If a person has lots of money, that's because they were fraudulent, insincere. There's a victim mentality coming in. Oh, woe is me. I want, but then not willing to put in the effort for things that you want. There's a certain amount of work that comes into practical action, comes into building anything, comes into building your house or your business, or if you're a practitioner, your healing clinic, or if you're a teacher, let's say, whatever, your classroom, there's certain practical action that there, not effort, but there is attending to and attention needed to take practical action to have your dreams come true. for example, or to have your dreams manifest. I don't like that come true part. But it's almost, there's this feeling of, well, I've taken one vitamin and I've done this one time. How come I don't have optimal health? I've worked, or I've done this, what I needed to do. How come it's not happening right away? So that little bit of victimness is in there as well within the root chakra. So you want to get that out. There's fear, distrust, mistrust, self-sabotage. And well, and then also the thinking, well, if I am to receive, that means I have sabotaged someone else. So this is all this planetary root chakra. Whoa, it's so heavy. And then we're going to go ahead and you can think about your lineage, and you can stop when you need to stop for yourself. You can breathe into your own root chakra. It's right down, right low, if you don't know where it is, right by the genitals. So for men, it's actually at the scrotum. For women, think of your pubic bone. Just breathe into that. And we're going to do first a bodygenics of pathological fear, pathological consciousness around money, also around gratitude, and all of those other strings that I talked about. Oh, so dirty, such dirty thinking. Just take a deep breath. This feels really uncomfortable at the back of my occiput. So we'll do at the same, after this, we'll go ahead and do a sacrum occiput balance, a spinal balancing. And then we're going to go back years and years and years. How many generations now? We're going back 100, 105, 100, 607. It's very specific. We're going to 107 generations of poverty. It's very heavy. So I'm seeing children on the streets, not having food, starved, women having to sell their bodies for food, men choosing to sell their wives and children. I'm seeing rapes and pillages and wars, famines, just this massive devastation. So this is very, very heavy. Please breathe with me. Make sure your feet are firmly, firmly, firmly planted. This is a really big one. I'm sending this through. We're going to dump it. Feels so nauseous. There it goes. I'm going to go ahead and I need some extra support. So you can say these sentences with me. We're bringing in Ho'oponopono to help clear that karma. So you can see your clear those tentacles sticking on to that root chakra. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Oh, perfect. It's gone. Oh, that feels so much better. I'm going to go ahead and wrap that in Reiki, and then the Reiki is going to run for 24 hours around that root chakra. And this is also linking to the minor chakras. So you can imagine that dysfunction, if you're walking through your life with that dysfunction, grounding you, how that would manifest in your life. Ooh. I'm going to go ahead and do a sacral occiput balancing. Take a nice deep breath. Oh, finally, there's some relief. Oh. Could you imagine all of this with the word gratitude? Whew. So I'm up in the on the occipital ridge, up through the brain. And there's so much tension. I feel like I'm being squished, like my head is being put through a compression device. So we need to move the cranial sutures a little bit. I don't have cranial sacral therapy, but I am going to go ahead and tap into universal consciousness and have intuition lead me. So it's a little bit crooked. All of the cranial sutures feel compacted and squishing. So I'm just going to go ahead and hold. You may feel kind of a little tension. And you can go ahead and hold your head. We'll do minor, just general adjustments, not specific ones. Oh, that feels so much better. So releasing the cranial sutures on top, realigning them, now doing back to front, just creating a little bit of space. In comes the arachnoid and the pia mater within the brain. And it feels so heavy. It's really, really sticky. So we're going to do a circulation plug-in of blood, lymph, nerve, and chi to from within the pia mater and the arachnoid matter. And we're going to link that into, we're going to tap cortices to that. So balancing of the left and right brain hemispheres, softening the corpus callosum, reducing stress, improving focus and brain functionality, balancing masculine and feminine, balancing left to right and right to left. And also that also reflects within the whole body. So balancing your left side to your right side to your left side. And I can see the body finally just stacking up into place, kind of like a Tetris. It's finally stacking up. Oh, that's really nice. And it's linking into the optic nerve. And there's so much tension around the eyes, like it's squishing. So we want to release the tension around the optic nerve and do a 5 sense balancing. A 5 senses, both physical and subtle, within the sense of sight. So this is where comes in those sentences. Oh, you only see what you want to see. That's because all of our filters of experiencing life, you see, we are presented. Oh God, what was that saying? I was listening to a movie. This is a little divergence, but it's quite important. You believe the reality you are presented. You believe the reality you are presented, and you believe it is so. And that's where seeing is believing. If you see it, well, then it must be true. And then you don't question it. So this is all within the optic nerve, linking into the sense of sight, both subtle and physical sense of sight. And within that sense of sight, we're going to do a 5 senses balancing of all the 5 senses, physical and subtle. And we're going to anchor it to individuation. Oh, so beautiful. Oh, there's finally relief. So you can start seeing clearly, start seeing yourself clearly, start seeing your life a little bit more clearly. Oh, that's so beautiful. Let me just anchoring that to the heart. Go ahead and you can put your left hand or your right hand on the heart and dumping those filters. And so now when I go back and say the word gratitude, there is a softening. So bringing in consciousness of gratitude. And this, I could just feel this whole body unraveling. That was a really big session. Go ahead and take a deep breath. Tapping all of that in. There's one link coming up. The masseters are the most inundated. I feel all of this pressure, so we've got to do the masseter, the TMJ. Oh, my stomach gurgled on that one. It's so tight. All of this tension, all of this pressure, whew, clenching down on life, clenching down on myself. Oh my God. Oh, all of these thoughts about myself and manipulating myself to be those thoughts. Oh, good grief. Good grief. And so we're going to do that, exactly that, a dumping of grief and harshness and control and manipulation from the TMJ. And we're going to link that to the reciprocals, right down to the sacroiliac joint. There we go. Ah, beautiful. Just going to hold that. Tap for everyone, then hold the sacroiliac joint. Take a nice deep breath. Ah, there you go. Now I can feel the energy moving more freely around my eyes. My eyesight has changed. It's more clear. Thanks, everyone. What a doozy of a session. Please get some rest if you can. And you can join me next week for the next world session at 12 p.m. Eastern. You can go ahead and email me any of your findings or your experiences or your shifts. Please go ahead and share this link. It's for the world. And thank you again. Much gratitude to all of you who have joined me live to anchor and support the world. Bye, my loves.